Today we're taking a look at these NCAAB matches, which are happening on Tuesday, December 6, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. Also, check out our perks and join the High Stakes membership. Joining the High Stakes membership is easy, is cheap, but it will help a lot in the growth process of this channel. Plus, if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. And make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Iona vs St. Louis. This will only be St. Louis's second road game. The other was a respectable showing in a 65-60 loss at Auburn on November 27. St. Louis is 1-1 on neutral courts, having lost 95-67 to Maryland in the first round of the Basketball Hall of Fame tip-off tournament in Uncasville, Connecticut, before defeating Providence 76-73 in the consolation game. Jimerson Gibson, a 6'5" redshirt sophomore, averages a team-high 14 points for St. Louis. The other double-figure scorers are Pickett, 12.7 ppg. Collins, 11.6 ppg. And 6'6" senior Javon Perkins, 11.6 ppg. Collins is also averaging 11.8 assists, while 6'9" senior Francis Okoro averages a team-high 8.3 rebounds. According to KenPom.com, St. Louis has the 51st toughest non-league schedule in the country. St. Louis also likes to play in transition. The Billikens began the week tied for 52nd in the country in fast break points, with 14.5 per game. Playing a more difficult early season schedule than Iona, St. Louis has an average scoring margin of 10.0 points. The Billikens have not been particularly strong from beyond the arc, .346. St. Louis is ranked 41st by KenPom.com, 40 spots higher than Iona. These two met last year, and it was close with St. Louis earning a 68-67 victory. Iona covered at +3.5. Another close game is to be expected. This should come down to the caliber of competition. Iona has yet to beat a team that currently owns a winning record. The best team that Iona has lost to is Santa Clara, the number 106 team in the KenPom.com ratings. St. Louis of the Atlantic 10 has played the better schedule, and that should be a major factor. The Billikens are 3-2 against teams with a .500 or better record, while Iona is 0-1. This season St. Louis has played just one road game, a 65-60 loss to unbeaten Auburn. The Billikens shot 1 for 11 from the foul line in the second half, out of character for a team shooting .774 from the free throw line. In that game, St. Louis led 58-53 with under 5 minutes left before Auburn went on an 11-0 run. Auburn is ranked number 11 in the country. That was a major test, and while the Billikens didn't win, they showed they can play on the road. Even beating a team with an 18-game home win streak should not be a daunting task. Take St. Louis -1 point. Both teams are high scoring. St. Louis averages 80.9 points, 42nd in the country. Iona isn't far behind, averaging 78.5 points, good for tied for 81st. Iona is also a solid 3-point shooting team, .370, often the byproduct of getting open looks because of its strong play in transition. The Gales are shooting .764 from the foul line. This is one area where St. Louis needs to improve, .346. The Billikens have found their stride at the free throw line the past 2 games, shooting 23 for 27, .851. Both teams should find open shots. Iona is 82nd in the country in adjusted defensive proficiency, allowing 97.4 points per 100 possessions, according to KenPom.com. St. Louis is 101st, 98.9. Open shots and chances in transition should be there. If the teams can make their shots, then meeting their season average will be enough. Take the over 151 points. Georgia Tech vs Georgia. The Georgia Bulldogs have benefited from an easy schedule and are not as good as its 7-2 record suggests. They have only played against one power conference team, which resulted in an 81-71 loss against Wake Forest. All three of the Georgia Tech defeats were against strong power conference foes, which should prove to be useful against a Bulldog squad that is expected to be at the bottom of the SEC this year. Furthermore, the Yellow Jackets have a stifling defense that will silence a struggling offensive Bulldog squad. They are shooting an abysmal 41.8% and only scored 65 points against Bucknell, 62 against East Tennessee State, and 68 against Florida A&M. Georgia Tech is limiting foes to only 39.3% shooting, including a 25.6% mark from three-point range. Also, Georgia's top scorer Terry Roberts did not play on Friday due to an illness and is questionable. Take Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets minus 2.5 points. The total has gone under in 6 of 7 games for the Yellow Jackets and 6 of 9 for the Bulldogs. Both of these teams are in the bottom half of Pomeroy's adjusted tempo ranking, with Georgia Tech sitting at 235th and Georgia at 284th. They both play slowly, and they are both teams better at stopping opponents from scoring compared to doing it themselves. All signs point to the under. St. Joseph's vs Temple. St. Joseph's is getting set to go on the road for the second time this season after getting blown out by Fairleigh Dickinson over the weekend. The Hawks picked up an 85-80 win in overtime at Penn last Wednesday in their first road game of the season. They also faced then number 3 Houston, Georgia and South Florida in 3 neutral site games, losing all 3 of those matchups. St. Joseph's received a combined 40 points from Eric Reynolds 21, and Christian Winborn 19 in the loss to Fairleigh Dickinson. The team trailed by just 5 points at halftime before being outscored by 12 points in the second half. Temple got off to a slow start this season, losing 4 of its first 6 games. The Owls lost to Wagner and Vanderbilt in overtime, but they also pulled off an upset against then number 16 Villanova as 5.5-point underdogs in between those losses. Their 76-73 loss to Wagner was particularly disappointing as they were 16-point favorites in that game. They also upset Rutgers as 4.5-point underdogs before losing to St. John's and Richmond in their following 2 games. Temple has been able to get back on track since then, rattling off a trio of wins against Drexel, LaSalle and VCU. There aren't many scenarios where I see this game ending up well for St. Joseph's, which lost by 17 points as a 12-point favorite its last time out. The Hawks lack size and experience in this matchup, and they are also going on the road for just the second time this season. Temple has won and covered the spread in 3 consecutive games, and it has a pair of elite scorers on its roster. The Owls are better on both ends of the court, have more size and experience, and they are playing at home. This should be a comfortable double-digit win for Temple minus 11 points on Tuesday night. The Owls are 5-4 this season, but they are on a 3-game win streak which came against strong mid-major programs. Temple defeated Drexel, LaSalle, and VCU all within the last 10 days. All 3 of those wins have come by double digits, too. Temple's losses have come against solid competition. Their losses are Wagner in the season opener in overtime, Vanderbilt in overtime, St. John's, and Richmond. One of Temple's best wins came against Villanova in the opening week of the season. Temple's latest game delivered them an 83-73 win over VCU on Saturday, December 3rd. Temple led by 1 point with 12 minutes to play, but a long scoreless streak by VCU allowed the Owls to push their lead further ahead. The Rams went 5 minutes without scoring a point as Temple secured the win. Temple shot 50% from the field and 36.8% from deep. They forced 18 turnovers as the Rams never led in the game. Sophomore Caliph Battle played all 40 minutes against VCU. He led the entire game in scoring with 27 points. This was his 4th straight game scoring 20 or more points. He leads Temple in scoring as he averages 20 points per game. Both of these teams have shown that they score over 70 points this year. Their defenses have also been letting up chunks of points, too. This has the makings of a high-scoring game due to poor turnovers that are transitioned into easy layups. The over has hit in a combined 10-5-1 between the 2 teams this year. The over is 4-1 in the Hawks' last 5 overall. The over is 3-0-1 in the Owls' last 4 home games. Take the over 141.5 points on Tuesday night.